A key witness in the Diddy trial has gone missing. This is super concerning because she is crucial for the case against one of the biggest names in music. She was actually going under a pseudonym like 3 other witnesses in the case, but she decided to waive that right and reveal her identity in her testimony. But now she's MIA. The federal prosecutors don't know where she is, her lawyers don't know where she is, and the prosecutors are using her testimony in the opening statement on May 12th. That's not that far away.
All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
I've been drowning in my PTSD. I can't sleep. When you know the truth and when you understand what we're talking about, you won't be able to sleep either. When you understand that there's a child being trafficked, brutalized, tortured right now as we speak, you won't be able to sleep either. When you realize how much your government is lying to you about, everything is in your face, and some of it you've enabled, you won't be able.
This time, Katt Williams came with no jokes, only truth. From the moment he sat down, the energy shifted. When he brought up Ally Carter, everyone knew something serious was coming. Katt's known for speaking his mind, but this felt different. He hinted that what happened to Ally wasn't just unfortunate, it was suspicious. He described the pressure she faced and how she faded after trying to speak out. Katt wasn't cracking jokes, he was giving a warning, loud and clear.
And I was on a whole other level of, it didn't matter. It didn't matter because I knew there was nothing I could do. It didn't matter because I knew this would happen. If I ever tried to tell, I knew nobody would hear me. Just the same way nobody tried to hear me when I was a child. The same way the authorities and the adults that were supposed to protect me, they did not. They were protected by the predators. My mom has been fighting for me for a very long time. I met her when I was 14, 15. She didn't get to adopt me until I was 19 because at the time nobody wanted me, but nobody could have me either. If you've counted the cost, and some people are like, what does that mean? We don't need your money, but your presence is powerful. If we're in your area and you can caravan with us if we need to get to one spot to another, if you can stand and be a witness, there's angels that have, we sleep in our car and live in our car, but there's angels that have followed us to a gas station and we told them we sleeping right here, so they've slept in their car right next to us because all hell was breaking loose. But if you've counted the cost, you know that what's meant for me will probably come at you. This is a historical evil. This is decades worth of evil. So nobody is going to take this lightly. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen. I do know that this is the hill that we die on. There are some people who are really upset by us saying what we are about to say. There are some people that are really upset that if this arrest goes through with the females I'm thinking it's supposed to go through with, some people really love Ellen and Oprah and Whoopi herself. MK Ultra is not a joke. Somebody has the remote to somebody else's brain. Somebody is threatening that they're going to drop me where I stand on Halloween night because you're conjuring spells and doing satanic rituals so big that it's helping the spirits. You know when they say they release the spirits over the city and the spirits are roaming and they're joking about Halloween. That is not a joke. That is not a joke at all. They are conjuring the hell out of demons. Some people are into witchcraft. I know there's some people that are into witchcraft on here. We've talked about this. We don't do that. We don't play with that stuff. But we appreciate that you're sitting here and you're doing something for the children. You're trying to listen for the children. But we don't need your problems. We got enough, as you can see. But that's a joke. It's not a joke at all. When you understand how spirits work, it's not a joke. CERN works, it's not a joke. So the amount of rituals and things that they are conjuring in your face, you already know that because when you go to the bookstore, you see satanic books. When you go to church, you understand because what do you think you go to church for? If you go to church, what do you think you go to church for? What do you think those stories in your Bible are for? Do you think that they didn't exist before? Do you think that they don't exist now? That is your war manual to exactly what is happening right now. Yes, there were There were shrines used for rituals. There's bloody places. There's parts where there's limbs. People cut off limbs and want you to have. There's blood. There's blood that I don't even know who it belongs to. There's a lot.
He stared straight into the lens and said, "Let's talk about Ally Carter." No background music. No audience laughter. Just silence. He told the story of a young woman who tried to speak out about powerful people, and then vanished. Not physically, but digitally, publicly, emotionally. Katt said she was erased, like someone didn't just forget her, they deleted her. He ended with a haunting question: who made her disappear, and why?
There's no other way to get ready. There's no other way to prepare. There's no protocol for what's about to happen. The world is going to crumble when they see this next arrest. In the meantime, there's going to be deaths, distractions, and fires to hide evidence. Watch for it, ask questions, demand answers. You know who's on those flight logs. You do. You know who should be arrested. You all do. You know that laptop from hell is real. You know that the black book is real. You know Ghislaine Maxwell's customers are who everybody is watching in the everyday news, including those who you drop your kids off with every day. Your schools, your doctor.
Katt didn't name names, but his meaning was loud. He called out the entertainment world as a system, one that punishes truth and rewards silence. Ally was brave, he said, but bravery comes with a price. He said people who push against the machine get crushed. And from the way he spoke, it didn't sound like speculation. It sounded like experience. According to him, Ally didn't just give up, she was pushed out, on purpose.
Hi, everybody. So let's get straight into it. So prosecutors are expected to issue a bench warrant out for victim number 3. Now, victim number 3 did not show up, and they don't know where she is till this very second. Now, according to the rumors, victim number 3 is Ally Carter.
A key witness in the Diddy trial has gone missing. This is super concerning because she is crucial for the case against one of the biggest names in music. She was actually going under a pseudonym like 3 other witnesses in the case, but she decided to waive that right and reveal her identity in her testimony. But now she's MIA. The federal prosecutors don't know where she is, her lawyers don't know where she is, and the prosecutors are using her testimony. For now, she's known as victim 3, and she was subpoenaed, which means that she is required to be there. There's a lot going on. In the coming weeks, we are going to find out whether Diddy used his influence and power to sexually exploit women for more than 2 decades.
And Ally Carter was supposed to testify that she saw minors at Diddy's parties. Now, a lot of people say she's lying, this and that, but what can be proven is she spoke about this way before any of this stuff even began. At this point, I feel like I'm not even qualified to say whether she's a liar or if she's telling the truth. But I will say one thing that's very eerie. Right before she went missing, she made this tape and she was insinuating that someone had broken into her home and someone was after her.
You get pressured, attacked, stalked, and hunted down for your own information. You get abused and re-victimized again by people who wanted to argue a back and forth this week like that mattered. Okay, you had Stu Peters and Timothy Charles Homestead going back and forth, and nobody has even bothered. Not that I give a damn, and not that I understand that you guys are gonna be that selfish, but nobody has bothered to apologize for all the hell that has happened. But you guys were arguing back and forth, and in that meantime, we lost our.
Then he dropped a chilling claim. Ally tried to warn people. Katt said she gave interviews that never aired, shared stories that were ignored, and posted things that quickly vanished. He mentioned one video that completely disappeared from every platform. They didn't just silence her, he said. They erased her. That line struck deep. If she really tried to speak, who made sure the world never heard it?
Get branded. I was about to change my complete look to go to Russia because that's what my pimp was telling me to do. So I braided my hair and I changed it. It was blood, fire engine, red, and it was so bright that it was so noticeable anywhere I went, and I had brushed it out so it's frizzy and crazy. And I went and sat on the swings, and I called my mom and my grandma at the time, and I told her, I love you, I don't know if I'll talk to you again, but I'm about to leave. And she's like, where? And when my grandma heard that in my voice, she rushed to the park. She saw me sitting on the swings. She's like, get home now. She called my mom. My mom called the foster home. She called the police. She called the social worker. And thank God they did, because it stopped the Russia order. It stopped my pickup. I was sitting on the swings getting ready to leave to go to Russia. And it stopped everything. That night, after telling my mom the complete truth and knowing that I wasn't about to come back, I made a choice to run and to disappear, because there was no way. CPS wasn't listening. My social workers knew and was in on it. They would tell me to stop telling people. People were making fake court orders for my mom. That was the time where I was like, it's either life or death right here. And the next time that I have to try to make this decision, I'm probably going to be somewhere where I can't get out. So I ran. I disappeared from Child Protective Services government custody for a year straight. By less than a few weeks, because of my last name and because of the elite ties that I have, they took me out of the missing child's network system, and removed me from any Amber Alerts or any type of system to tell anybody that I was missing. But CPS still collected money for me. There were fake FBI that were sent out to torment my mom, to mess with people that I knew of that my pimp seen me with, because he made it. There were fake FBI that came out to torment my mom because my pimp made it in a way that he knew who I was hanging around. He knew what I was doing at school. He knew all those things. But I had to be safe, and I can't say exactly how I disappeared. It would incriminate a few really, really, really good people, because they had to do what they had to do to make sure that I'm still sitting.
Go to the police. You're going to tell somebody right then and there. You're going to have somebody be able to co-sign saying that, no, she told me that happened immediately. Mm-hmm. For it to be so many years later, a decade or so later, and she's saying that what she experienced was not, willingly. She did. It was forced on her. Then it happened again and again. Where does it come as far as that testimony, where the belief is in that, like, okay, you didn't leave, and this happened to you again and again, and you sound like he's like, I didn't want it. There was a time when she's in the closet, he just walked in, pulled himself out, grabbed her head, and made her, whatever. And you stayed. And so it comes to like, and again, it's very touchy subject right now as far as speaking on this, but how does that play out in the court in front of jurors when you stayed and it kept happening, and then finally up until him getting caught with this whole situation now is when now you're like, okay, let me tell my story.
So let me start off with the pluses for the prosecution on this, Ryan. Those graphic details and going back and saying the things that she said are going to be absolute key. And it's going to be the weight of the jury, or the weight of that testimony, for the jury to kind of decide if that is plausible or believable. And to go through those type of recounting what happened to you is something that's very powerful. And for her to be able to give, and we don't know exactly how detailed she got into that testimony, right? Did she talk about birthmarks or anything that only someone who would have had an encounter with someone would know? Those type of things are going to be absolutely key. The second thing is the grooming aspect of it. The previous, I can't remember which of the male assistants made the statement, but when he was talking about Ms. Ventura, he said, this is going to be easy, I'm paraphrasing, because she's so young.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so now, depending on the age of this assistant, when these acts happen, it could show that Mr. Combs had a target range or an age group that he kind of knew that if he showed himself to be a father figure or put himself in that Camelot type atmosphere, or Lancelot type atmosphere, that he would be able to have his way with these women. And so all of that.
In a raw, emotional moment, Katt compared Ally's story to his own. He said when he spoke out, the industry didn't blacklist him, they ghosted him. Lost roles, ignored calls, silent punishment. And that's what he believes happened to Ally. She didn't disappear because she failed. She disappeared because she dared to speak. When his voice cracked, you could tell, this wasn't a show. It was pain.
Of their narcissistic ways, they will never take accountability. They will never take responsibility. It will always be your fault. Have you ever dealt with somebody like that? Yes? Okay. I know a lot of people relate to us because there's something that has happened in your life that you can relate to. So stay with me. The Getty's burning? Is it? Because didn't I tell y'all that? Didn't I tell y'all there will be an accidental explosion? Accidental fire? And the next thing you know, celebrities' homes would be on fire. Things would be on fire. I pray for the people in its path, but I also pray that it exposes the things that it needs to expose. But y'all have had that narcissistic person.
First, we begin with that wildfire that exploded overnight in New Jersey. Here's a live look from our Philadelphia station WPVI's helicopter. Trevor Auld is on the scene in Ocean County, New Jersey. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning, George. This really became a mess overnight. Thousands of people evacuated and some major highways shut down. Let's show you that look up above again from our station WPVI in Philadelphia. You can still see some active flames this morning and really tons of smoke. A lot of the visibility is really messy this morning. And this was originally thought, the Jones Road fire, to threaten just a dozen structures, and then it erupted to threatening well over 1,000.
A lot. Mainly from big kitties. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. And you know what? Kill me. You've already tried. This won't be the first. Damn sure won't be the last. I just hope people see through it this time. We'll see.
They're always trying to find a way to attach me to some train wreck. You know, now, this Ally Carter kitty business, it's weird. Because not only DNA doesn't lie, Kenyani, but Ally Carter is now subliminally referring to me as here, kitty, kitty, lying, saying that me and my support base are threatening her.
At one point, the host tried to change the subject, but Katt wouldn't let it go. No, let me finish, he said. Then came one of the most powerful lines of the entire interview. Y'all keep asking what happened to her, but the real question is, who made it happen? That moment wasn't loud, it was heavy. Katt didn't sound angry. He sounded broken. And that hit harder than any outburst ever could.
I don't know what's wrong with my I was a party favorite.
What does that mean?
I was a party favorite. I was somebody you could take off the table.
So you're telling me they set children?
I set children on a table.
Like when you go to a birthday party and they have gift bags for everybody that comes that have candy and toys in them, yep. And they set them on the table. So you're telling me at the freak-off parties, mm-hmm. They put children on the table instead of gift bags, mm-hmm. And then people can do what?
Take you off the table and have, even though it's against the rules to do certain things, like their Full House, that's against the rules. Like for me, that was against the rules, but that didn't matter. That did not matter.
So they come choose you off the table, do whatever they want with you, and then what happens?
Then they put you back on the table.
They put you back on the table for somebody else to come choose you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's called a party favor effect. It's just one of the little things that go on at the freak off parties with children. Were there animals there?
Mm-hmm. Goats.
Did they turn the animals loose on the kids?
Yeah.
And if you got sick and threw up because it was so disgusting, what happened?
You had to eat it.
You had to eat your vomit if you threw up. That's satanic ritual. Diddy was at this party?
Mm-hmm.
Denzel Washington was at this party?
Yep.
Birdman was at this party?
Yes, he was.
And Young Jock?
Yep.
And you're telling me Denzel was there and it was after 1 o'clock when he supposedly left?
And beanie socks and a gold chain.
So you're telling me Denzel Washington was butt naked, he had a beanie on, socks on, and a gold chain, and that's it. In front of children. Funny. Because he sure portrays himself to be holier than thou.
Well, so a lot of them do.
I think you also told me that one of those men have a birthmark.
Left thigh.
One of those men have a birthmark on their left thigh.
Yep.
Did you have interactions with Diddy?
Yep.
Denzel? And I know we don't tell on Denzel. You might not tell on Denzel, but your mama gonna tell on everybody.
Right after the interview aired, social media exploded. Where is Ally Carter now? Became the top question online. Fans dug up old pictures, long deleted clips, and screenshots of her past posts. Some even found archived content that had once disappeared. Katt's interview didn't just stir old memories, it reignited a movement. The world was asking again, what really happened to Ally Carter?
Club Shay Shay, yeah. I was trying to do something there that hadn't been done. I thought that I had figured out the algorithm mathematically, and I thought that I could show that. And when I wrote it out to kill the careers of the people I was talking about, right? But it was so vicious that I erased all of the knockout blows and just left the jabs so that the comic I'm talking about knows that I know your real story, motherfucker. But tell this, but you know what else I know. So, yeah, I was...
Do you want to tell any of those stories now?
Well, I'm saying knowledge and your secrets. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that.
Who was a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who was a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Think of the power of that moment. Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend?
Diddy has ran around and threatened every other man that was interested in Cassie while he was busy her, neglecting her, confusing her. Why wouldn't we think that he put the moves on Ryan Leslie? I thought it was interesting when he did Drink Champs, because he just recently, not that long ago, did a Drink Champ interview with Nori and them over on the Peer Pressure podcast. I was shocked to see that. I didn't understand the relevance. I didn't understand why he would do anything for a network that was affiliated with Diddy. I didn't get it. Didn't make any sense to me. Not at all. But what I do know is this. Diddy has a history of bullying women into relationships with him and bullying men away from the women that he desires.
He closed the interview with a chilling message. Looking into the camera, Katt said, "Don't be afraid to ask questions." It wasn't just aimed at fans, it was aimed at the people in power. He said Ally's story proves silence isn't always voluntary, sometimes it's forced. And that staying quiet when you know the truth is the most dangerous thing of all. As the screen faded to black, one thing was clear, even if Ally couldn't speak, Katt made sure someone finally did.
Not because she was crying and going through all the pain that Cassie and her went through. And because when you heard her testimony, you found out that she really didn't care for Cassie like that. Their friendship grew. You know, they had grown into a friendship that she cared more about Diddy, because she even wrote him letters that she had a crush on him back in the day. So it was kind of weird hearing all the stuff she was going through. And in my mind, I was thinking that, you know, and knowing who Diddy was, he probably slept with her too. That's what I was thinking. I don't know that to be true. You understand? But what people didn't understand in her testimony, because just like Dawn, that he would fire her, then she'll come back, or she'll go get another job, and then she'll have to come back, or whatever they work about, something like that. People don't understand this, bro. And when you look at the situation with all the people that were employed by Diddy and that was in the music world, it's this old proverb, the golden rule. And what's the golden rule? The man with all the gold make all the rules. Puff was that dude that he held all the gold. When she went to work for Mark Pitts, that was Puff, that was Kirk Burroughs' protege. Kirk Burroughs taught him everything he know. He was with Bad Boy first. He was the one who Puff was the one who put him with Big, and he was managing Big. So when this lady was coming back and she was in the defense went at her, well, you trying to say that he threatened your life, they kidnapped you, they did all these stuff to you, but you still went back to work with him, because she probably couldn't go back to work for nobody else until she straightened out with him, or till she made him feel good, until she made him
get branded. I was about to change my complete look to go to Russia because that's what my pimp was telling me to do. So I braided my hair and I changed it. It was blood fire engine red, and it was so bright that it was so noticeable anywhere I went, and I had brushed it out so it's frizzy and crazy. And I went and sat on the swings, and I called my mom and my grandma at the time, and I told her, I love you. I don't know if I'll talk to you again. but I'm about to leave. And she's like, where? And when my grandma heard that in my voice, she rushed to the park. She saw me sitting on the swings. She's like, get home now. She called my mom. My mom called the foster home. She called the police. She called the social worker. And thank God they did, because it stopped the Russia order. It stopped my pickup. I was sitting on the swings getting ready to leave to go to Russia. And it stopped everything. That night, after telling my mom the complete truth and knowing that I wasn't about to come back, I made a choice to run and to disappear, because there was no way. CPS wasn't listening. My social workers knew and was in on it. They would tell me to stop telling people. People were making fake court orders for my mom. That was the time where I was like, it's either life or death right here. And the next time that I have to try to make this decision, I'm probably going to be somewhere where I can't get out. So I ran. I disappeared from Child Protective Services government custody for a year straight. By less than a few weeks, because of my last name and because of the elite ties that I have, they took me out of the missing child's network system, and removed me from any Amber Alerts or any type of system to tell anybody that I was missing. But CPS still collected money for me. There were fake FBI that were sent out to torment my mom, to mess with people that I knew of that my pimp seen me with, because he made it. There were fake FBI that came out to torment my mom because my pimp made it in a way that he knew who I was hanging around. He knew what I was doing at school. He knew all those things. But I had to be safe, and I can't say exactly how I disappeared. It would incriminate a few really, really, really good people, because they had to do what they had to do to make sure that I'm still sitting.
In the meantime, there's going to be deaths, distractions, and fires to hide evidence. Watch for it, ask questions, demand answers. You know who's on those flight logs. You do. You know who should be arrested. You all do. You know that laptop from hell is real. You know that